What's up, Bazzle babes? It's your girl Joy from Only in Bazzle's World. Child, let me tell you, I told you I was gonna show some people how to make some macaroni and cheese. Cause you know how sometimes you go to somebody's house and they bring macaroni and cheese and you be like, ooh, not good, no bueno. But let me tell you, I make good macaroni and cheese. I make good almost everything. And let me tell you, my macaroni and cheese is a little different. I make a cheese sauce first. And I like a savory macaroni cheese. I love onions and I love garlic. I like lots of flavor. So yes, it's gonna have lots of flavor and salt. I saw somebody make some macaroni cheese. They add no salt, no seasonings, no nothing, just the cheese. I'm sorry, people, the cheese is not gonna give it all that flavor that you're looking for. That's not how it works. So trust me, follow my instructions and you'll be making some very good macaroni cheese. It's slightly different than other people's. I know some people put mustard. I don't put mustard in mine. I tried that once and it was just okay. So Bobby is the cook in the house. So I'm gonna show Bobby how to make the macaroni and cheese. And my nerves is bad because you know it's not vegan. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I got me a box macaroni and cheese, a vegan one. Can I get a cheat day? Does that work or does it work that way? I don't know. This is stressful. I don't know if I can. This vegan stuff, I don't know. So let me just show you all the stuff I have and what you're gonna need. And this is what I use. Other people do it different. I know how to make macaroni and cheese. You'll come to my house and the macaroni and cheese will be the bomb. But I will tell you this, if you use the box macaroni and cheese and that's the only thing you like, you're not gonna like mine. I like homemade from scratch macaroni and cheese with lots of flavor, okay? Right, Bobby? Is the macaroni and cheese good? All right. So let me just show you the stuff that I have that's going to go in this macaroni and cheese. And you know what? I'm upset. I put bouillon cubes in mine. Like I said, my macaroni and cheese is savory. And child, I went to the store this morning. All the bouillon cubes are gone. I was like, damn. So, and then I picked up a box, not paying attention. I got some chicken broth bouillon powder or something I never buy. I usually use Knorr's. They didn't have none and I was not going to another store. And then it said no sodium. That's like a black person's nightmare. All right, let me show you what I have that's gonna go on this macaroni and cheese. So I want to post this so you guys, even if you get a few little tips from me, use those tips. Hook your macaroni cheese. And I use a little secret ingredient that I never share with nobody, but I'll share. I don't know. My mom used to do it, so I do it. I don't know if it makes a difference. I just do it. Okay. This is the oil I use. So what happens, you're going to have to make a roux, like a gravy. So it's like you're making a cheese gravy. You can't use skim milk. Don't use skim milk for macaroni cheese. It don't work because it makes the cheese taste a little gritty. I got 4 cans of this, and if I need more milk, I got this as a backup. Whole milk, garlic. I already minced up my onions, and then I have onion powder. Yes, onion minced and onion powder. Yes, extra flavor. And then I got garlic powder and adobo. I put adobo in everything. Adobo saves lives. And then I got 2 kinds of cheese. You know, some people put all kinds of cheese. I don't know. I picked this up. This triple cheddar. So I just picked this up. And then sharp cheddar cheese. And don't ask me about measurements because I can't tell you. Then I have some flour for the gravy. And pepper. Child, I don't know what this is. I usually use Knorr's, Knorrs, I think, but they were out. And then I do use the Cheese Whiz. I don't know what the Cheese Whiz does. My mama used to do it, so that's my little secret ingredient that I just throw in there at the end. It just tastes good. Then what you want to do, you want to boil your macaroni, which I already did. It's hard. You want to boil your macaroni. Let me tell you something. Don't overcook your macaroni because you gotta bake your macaroni and put it in the oven. So that if your macaroni is all the way cooked and it's perfect, and then you throw it in the oven for about 30-40 minutes, then you're gonna have overcooked macaroni and cheese. Nobody wants that. Those are people that be bringing that stuff to the little gatherings, the little potluck. They bring that overbaked macaroni cheese. Don't do that. You want the macaroni to be al dente, like it's gonna put a dent in your teeth almost. Do that. Make sure it's a little hard, because even if it's extra hard, when you bake it, just bake it a little longer until it's ready. Don't over boil your macaroni. And I put a little bit of salt in the water and a little bit of oil, and then I kept an eye on it. I ain't walk away from it. Yes, I sat there and watched that pot boil, because that's what I wanted, my macaroni perfect. And like I said, I got box tomorrow might be the day I cheat, child. This too much. So let me move this stuff on over there, and we're gonna move fast, honey. We're gonna put the oil in the pan, and then we're gonna saute the onions, because it brings out the flavor. And I like sweet onions. You'll go to the grocery store, there's a section, it'll say sweet onions. I don't know why, I just like them. So I just always buy the sweet onions. And then for red onions, oh, I like those on a sandwich. I have to have a red onion on a sandwich, honey. Okay, so let me get started, and so you can see how this whole process is. Trust me, it's good macaroni and cheese. I don't be just put no mustard, nutmeg. I don't do none of that. So, and then if you want to leave in the comments little different things that you do. One time I made macaroni and cheese with some heavy cream. I followed the recipe to the T. It was very, very good. But the next day, no bueno. It didn't heat up well at all. This macaroni and cheese, I've been making it for years, so I know something, okay? Oh, and a side note. If you get your turkey and it's frozen, you want to put your turkey and submerge it in some cold water. Now, you want to do it now. You want to submerge the entire turkey in some cold water, and you want to change your water every 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, so you do that, because the water get warm, and you don't want to get no, what do you call it? Whatever. You don't want to get sick this holiday season. So we've been changing the water. We've been changing the water every 30 minutes. And yes, I wash my sink out before I put the turkey in there. Yes, I did. And then I wash it out when it's done too, because then you don't want all that residue left in there, because that's cross-contaminating your stuff. So I don't do that. So what else I got going on? And we just do the basics: macaroni, cheese, candy yams, collard greens. Ooh, child's gonna be my first year making collard greens vegetarian, no meat. And then I'm gonna try me a little bit of candy yams with my butter. So this is too much. I don't know, maybe it should just be a straight cheat day, because anyway. You know what's weird too? When you cook, somebody say put a splash of this, put a sprinkle of that, and it's like my own hands know how much. So some things you just gonna have to eyeball, because my hands and my body, it's like it knows how much to put with certain things. So for the oil, I'm gonna say maybe half a cup of oil, okay? Because remember, we're making a gravy, and it's a whole bunch of macaroni. We might need more. We're not gonna need less. Let's just go with that, okay? Give me the oil, because my hand has to pour the oil. So I'm pouring the oil in the pot. Yeah, let's just start with a half a cup. Let that warm up. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with the onions. Put the onions down until they're a little translucent. Not too much, because I don't know, I just like the flavor. So you want to cook them down, and then you want to throw in your garlic. So you don't want to throw them in at the same time. And some people make macaroni and cheese with whole milk. Don't ask me why. My mama used to use carnation milk, so that's what I use. Sometimes things are just passed down from generation to generation, and my macaroni and cheese is a bomb, and my mother could cook very well. Very well, okay? She didn't get that booty for no reason, okay? The oil is warm, so I like onions, and it's a whole bunch of macaroni. I'm just gonna throw the whole shebang up in there. And this is probably about a cup, a little extra. And like, I like hearty macaroni and cheese. I like a savory macaroni and cheese. Not some, even if I do box macaroni and cheese, I still saute. I still saute onions for my box macaroni and cheese. Look at that yummy goodness. And trust me, it's not a lot of oil because you're also going to throw your flour into there. And I use Smart Balance oil. That's the oil that I use at home if I do use it. Yeah, I use it. This is what I use when I cook stuff, and if I want some fried tater tots, this is what I'm using. It's a little pricier, but that's what I use. See, they're starting to cook down nicely, and the smell. And I use the same pot that I use for my macaroni. I just rinsed it out, so therefore we're not dirtying a whole bunch of pots. Okay, so I'm gonna cook this down maybe another minute. Don't worry about the oil. Trust me, once we throw in the flour, it's all gonna go bye-bye. And you need that because you're gonna make a roux. It needs the base for your gravy. You're making a gravy for your macaroni and cheese. And yes, you know, I have to taste it to make sure it's good. Now I'm gonna throw in my garlic and let that cook down. So I probably put in, I like garlic, I probably put in 2 tablespoons of garlic. Yep, that's about 2 tablespoons. Remember, you have a whole lot of macaroni to cover, so don't worry about it. And another thing, when you're making macaroni and cheese, when I do my cheese sauce, I overcompensate for the macaroni because I make this sauce a little saltier, because once I throw in the macaroni, it balances it out. So sometimes you make the sauce just right and the flavor is good, then you throw in your macaroni and you taste it like, oh, this needs salt. That's because you didn't overcompensate for the blandness of the macaroni. So yeah, it's just bland. That's no flavor, that's not good. You know, I gotta clean that up later. I don't know why I did that. Alright, so here's my flour. This right here is probably almost a cup of flour. I'm not putting in the whole thing. You gotta listen. This is where I'm gonna switch. This is the important part. I'm gonna switch from my spoon. And I'm gonna use a whisk. This is important. The whisk. It's all in the whisk. On my flour, I'm not just throwing in maybe a 1/4 cup. See how it's absorbing all the oil? That's the beginning of my thing. And let's just say you didn't have enough oil when you threw your flour, and then you got one big dry ball up in there. Just throwing a little bit more oil. Okay, so I probably put in about 3/4 of a cup of flour. See? Here we go. Look at that. And trust me, if you're making any kind of soup or something or gravy, this is what you call a roux. R-U-E, I believe. A roux. And it's the foundation for most soups and gravies. I make good gravy too. This is how I make my gravy. Just like this. And then I'll use the drippings from the pan, throw in my oil, or if there's oil there, then I throw in the flour, then I throw in my stock. So here's the first cup of the first container. I just do a little at a time. And it smells wonderful. And you want your fire high. Look at that. See, that one can didn't do nothing. It got us going though. So we're done with this can. Now we're on to can number 2. I like to do half a can at a time. And my fire is up high. Here we go. Now it's still thick. And remember, once you throw in that cheese, this is going to get really thick. And another thing too, check this out. You don't need no egg in macaroni and cheese, because the cheese is like a coagulant. It's all going to bind together. So what you adding eggs for? Don't do that. Don't do that, because it's gonna stick together with all the cheese. See? And trust me, once you add the cheese, it's gonna get even thicker. So don't be afraid of the milk, honey. And trust me, do not use, don't use skim milk, because it'll make your stuff grainy. Trust me, who's gonna eat macaroni and cheese and they on a diet? Just don't eat it. If you're gonna eat macaroni and cheese, do the thing, do the thing, hey, do the thing, do the thing, hey. So this is still my sauce. So right now it looks like I need to add some of my seasoning. I still have this. Trust me, it's gonna be used. Once I add all the cheese and stuff, I'm adding some pepper. I gotta use the big boy. I don't know what. Pepper to taste, child. Pepper to taste. Here's my adobo. I can't tell you. Sometimes I see how it's laid on the bottom. That was probably a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half. A tablespoon? That was more than a tablespoon?
It was like a fourth of a cup.
It was not. It wasn't. Put in 2 tablespoons of adobo. How about that? Put 2 tablespoons. Trust me, you're going to be okay. Because remember, start out with 2 tablespoons of the adobo, because you need to overcompensate for the pasta. It's going to work. 2 tablespoons. Here we go right here. Let me tell you something. Your garlic powder and your onion powder, these are freebies because there's no salt in them. You could probably put the whole bottle in there and it's still going to taste good. This, I probably put 3 tablespoons each. Seriously, I like flavor. Go with 3 tablespoons each. And this is 2 boxes of pasta. That's 2 boxes of pasta. Remember, we still need to overcompensate. Go with 3 tablespoons. You know what? Worry about salt. Don't get onion salt, garlic salt. Don't do that. Because this is your salt. The adobo is your salt. Or Lowry's, whatever it is you use. So here I go. I'm putting. Remember, this is a freebie. And this is where you get a lot of flavor too. Put in 3 tablespoons. And I'll keep adding more too. Just go with the 3 tablespoons. Yeah, you added garlic, but you're also going to add garlic powder. Look at that little mountain I'm creating. Don't be afraid. Trust me. Don't be afraid. Because remember, we're going with the flavor. Then I turn my fire down a little bit. I'm going to add in a little bit of my other can. So I added half of that 4th can. And I probably will need the whole milk. Now I'm going to add these bouillon cubes this is not what I use, but it'll still give it that hearty flavor of the chicken broth. I usually use the Knorr's chicken cubes. No sodium? Who buys this with no sodium? Thanksgiving time? Sodium. So I throw that in there. Remember, I like flavor, honey. But look for the Knorr's. I've never used this before. I'm not happy that it doesn't have salt in them. That's what I get rushing to do through the South. Help these things. Now the cheese, child. I don't know. I'm gonna do maybe what, 3 cups of this one, and probably the whole packet of the other one. Sometimes I like to use sharp cheddar and mild in like a Kobe. So that's about 3 cups. So I put in 3 cups of cheese to start out. Look at that. Child, I'm gonna break my whisk. Now where's my milk? Putting in more of my milk. So now that's my 4th can. So I'm gonna let that cook. I turn my fire down just a little bit. Look at that. And I will need the whole milk. Don't use no skim milk up here. Ain't nobody skinny. When you're making macaroni and cheese, it's not about the calories. It's about how it's gonna taste and is it gonna hug you. So don't use no skim milk. If you're gonna make it whole milk and your carnation milk. And I can tell I'm gonna need this. And we don't drink whole milk up in here. But I buy this every time I make macaroni and cheese. And one time, I didn't have enough carnation milk. So I think I had 2 cans or something. And I needed more milk, so I used 2%. No bueno. Lesson learned. Has to be whole milk. Yeah. See, that's really thick now. And I'm not done with the cheese. So, at this stage, I did not mention this before, a whole stick of butter. Because you have a whole bunch of macaroni. This is 2 boxes of macaroni. This is nothing compared to all that macaroni. So don't worry about it. You'll be okay. This is treat. Just throw it in. Okay? Just throw it in there. Let it melt around. Okay? Then I'm opening up my milk, y'all. Oh, it's getting a little thick, so I'm just gonna see how it feels. See, a lot of it is by feel. Ooh, alright. So I probably put in of that, maybe a cup. Because remember, I still have more cheese to add. After I add this other bag of cheese, then I'm gonna start to taste it. Does it need more salt? Does it need more pepper? Does it need onion powder, garlic powder? That's when I start to tweak it. And we don't want to forget this. This is our secret weapon in our back pocket. So this is a this is 2 cups. This is 2 cups. I probably put in 1.5 cups because remember we got our secret weapon also, and this is looking very good, very cheesy. Now we're gonna put in our cheese whiz. I don't know if that worked. My mama used to do it, so I do. Sometimes I don't even use the whole jar because this be freaking me out too. But I'm like, hey, it make it taste good. And I say on Thanksgiving, you ain't trying to worry about calories. You enjoying yourself. You having a good time with your family. Then if you taking macaroni and cheese in somebody's house, you want it to taste good. Because you don't want them talking about you. They talking about that bland macaroni and cheese. I don't play that. My stuff be good. Woo, look at that. And this is how you make a cheese sauce. I can even see this being used, same technique being used as a cheese dip if you're doing, what's it, fondue or something like that. You can use the same technique for this. So after this melts down, I'll give it another minute or 2. Then I'm going to start to taste it. Yes, this vegan lifestyle, I need to see if my food is good because my kids going to be eating. So yes, I don't want them talking. One year, child, I made macaroni and cheese. I don't know what happened. It was horrible. I was embarrassed. I threw the whole thing in the trash. I was like, I can't give that to nobody. I couldn't even save it. And let me tell you something. When you tasting your food, don't double dip. Don't do that. Don't do that. Some dishes you double dip, put it in your mouth, then put it back in the pot. You could ruin the whole pot. So don't do that. Just rinse your spoon off or get a different one, okay? And then you go taking it to somebody's house. See, that's the thing with potlucks. I don't like to eat from everybody because you don't know if they double dipping or they had the cat on the damn counter. I don't know. That makes my nerves bad. Don't put your cat on the counter, especially when you're cooking, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. Keep your cat down. Wipe your counters down. All right, so let me see. Or sometimes I'll just take from the back of the salt. That's good though. But it needs salt. And see, I go back to the basics. This is when you start to adjust your recipe and start. Always go back to your main 3 really. Your adobo, your onion powder, your garlic powder. It was probably that no sodium chicken stuff. Made me mad. That's what's probably throwing me off.
That's terrible.
No sodium? Why they even make that? I know people with high blood pressure, but not on Thanksgiving. Don't even have it on the shelf. They be making a mistake. And it does not taste like chicken. Okay. then also, sometimes I save this for the kids, a little extra, but I save it also to sprinkle on top of the macaroni and cheese. My daughter wants me to put panko crumbs, but I'm not doing that. And I'm gonna put a little milk, but this is cheesy enough. No sodium, so I'm gonna throw another one of these in there too. Remember, this is not salt, so you don't gotta worry about this being too overpowering. So maybe that's, I think this is throwing me off too. Okay, after this, all right, let's see. Don't forget, you have to I don't know if I can say this enough, you have to overcompensate. The flavor here is gonna be taken up by your pasta because there's no flavor in the pasta, so you kind of want this with extra flavor. Yeah. I'm gonna throw in some more cheese. Yep. Throwing a little, see, this is when you start to add your extras to it. So this is pretty much done. I'm gonna add a little more salt. The salt was perfect, but I'm overcompensating right now. Just a little bit. A little more onion. Like I said, this is the onion powder, garlic powder. So I probably put 5 tablespoons, 6 tablespoons of this stuff up in there. And more pepper. Remember I said, always go back to those 3 things. Your adobo, onion powder, garlic powder, and pepper to taste. And we're done. I'm going to try a little bit with that al dente macaroni. So this is just a little taster. Remember, it still needs to go in the oven, but I want to see how it tastes with the pasta. I know, I got to taste my stuff, okay? Just come over. Just come over. And then once those flavors start to marinate, baby.
Drop mic.
Maybe it tastes good. Because I haven't had real cheese in a long time. I forgot. It was supposed to taste. Hey, Bobby. What do you think? Once you're satisfied with your sauce, it's really about the sauce. And then you do a little tester with the pasta to see if you need to overcompensate a little more. But once you do that, then you mix it all together. I usually put the pasta in the pan and then I pour in my sauce. Because sometimes I make more sauce than I have pasta. Therefore, that extra sauce, I freeze it. So if I want a little treat, I'll just boil a little bit of macaroni and take my little sauce right out of the freezer. And I would bake it for about 30 to 40 minutes. You want to preheat your oven at 350 degrees. That is the go-to temperature for everything that I use, 350. And I'll put a lid on it for a little while because the pasta is really al dente. I'll put foil on top of it. You can, some people do, some people don't. It depends on your preference. If it's real al dente, I may start off with foil for about the first 15-20 minutes and then I take it off to get the top crunchy. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe and share. Child, you need to share this to all your friends. If you bring in macaroni and cheese, watch this video first to pick up some tips from Only in Bazzle's World. Boop.